So let's talk a little bit about when did you leave Bell and go to Robinson? And did you immediately go to Robinson as the CEO, or did you start out in a different role? And then, was Robinson already looking at advanced air mobility or
Probably worth just a quick my career, most of my career was in flight development, and I got to be part of some aircraft that were really aimed at democratizing the sky. So I worked on was the earliest chief engineer for the Bell 505, which is a light five-seat helicopter, and it actually got me exposed to Robinson as a competitor. Part of the reason why we were doing the program was to block Robinson from moving up market into Bell's bigger products. And I got exposed to customers who are Robinson customers. I got exposed to the manufacturing and strategy of the company. And it was a really great experience. We moved very quickly. We were one of the first programs, and probably the only program in the industry that flew early, flew under budget. Ultimately, the program was cash flow positive because they had such interest in the customer base. It was a really big success for Bell. Ultimately, subsequently, the product's gotten very expensive. For Robinson, we are now like taking market share back from the 505, and really excited to sort of take over for my stepchild there that's floating out in the world with the 505. Part of that then led me into a stint in a startup within Textron of true simulation and training, where we had bought some companies and bolted them together, rebranded, and came up with kind of this new business model inside of a Fortune 500 company. But I love that. I led their training services division, and then ultimately their business that was business aviation, so specialty simulators. And then at the end, I led the whole division. And then the pandemic kind of destroyed it all. But ultimately, my experience in that was a 5-year kind of side quest, I'd say. Phenomenal experience. Loved having control over both strategy, certainly P&L responsibility, and then a lot of talent selection and customer touch and contact. It was a great experience. So I love that, crave that. After that, though, I went back to Bell and helped them prepare for the U.S. Army contract they just won, which was a very important national priority. So I enjoyed it, but I didn't have that same you know, itch scratched of being directly involved in strategy, directly involved in making big things happen, with your mind. So I picked up the phone a couple of times, I'd say, from recruiters, and several great opportunities that came up. Actually, several in AAM, some that I still can't be public about, but they were fantastic opportunities in these companies that are trying to figure out how to make distributed propulsion work. And I ultimately, one of the reasons why I chose Robinson over those opportunities was the physics of vertical flight favors the way helicopters are laid out, and that's not a secret. It's 100-year-old discovery, but it's kind of the reason why bicycles work the way they do. It would not interest most people to put 6 more wheels on a bicycle. So I argue that a lot now, and I think ultimately the opportunity to join Robinson was too great to pass up. They had truly in their history never made any mistakes. They had managed the business really well, kept control of the supply chain. So in a time when people couldn't get basic materials after the pandemic, Robinson had a warehouse full of most of the core ingredients for helicopters, and they make it all here. So really successful company. They hired me knowing that CEO was the job, but to give an overlap with my predecessor, who was the son of the founder, Kurt Robinson. He had a long tenure as the CEO, did some amazing things through the financial crisis, the launch of the R66, fielding of avionics and autopilots and amazing things.
wow.
And so he made a huge impact, but you could tell he was tired, and like he had done this as a labor of love in a family business for him, and was looking for someone he could pass the torch to. So I came in for a year, studied under him, really learned the business even closer. I took over about a year and a half ago, and one of the major tasks, to the point of sort of AM and alternate power plants, was from our stakeholders and our board was go and be a leader, take the leadership in this space, not just ride alongside so many people, which many people have used our product to develop electric propulsion and hydrogen systems before, and AI systems as well. Lots of exciting unmanned and AI. We should be owning that, and we will. And so that's been a big part of my last 18 months, is to go and actively lead and drive and invest and control.
Wow.